Huge news for the Central Valley School District families. Grades 7 through 12 will return to the classroom full time. What that means for students, plus
lots of wins. We're all for all the wins. So that makes it worth it.
Jalen Suggs is a standout player for the Zags, and his family has been driving from Minneapolis to Indy every weekend to cheer him on. But it turns out the NCAA tournament isn't the only basketball this family is watching.
We're tracking less windy weather and clear skies in the overnight hours. That's going to make it cold. Also some sunshine in your 10-day forecast next.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight on KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Regina Ahn.
Yeah, it is good to have you here with us. I'm Tom Sherry. Well, good news for Central Valley School District students and their parents. Starting April 12th, grades 7 through 12 will return to the classroom full time. The change was approved during a board meeting tonight and passed unanimously. This means that the students who are choosing to do in-person learning will be able to attend class on campus every day of the week.
There was some doubt that we would get there this year, but we have implemented our plan fully, and actually will have implemented our plan one step further than we thought we might be able to.
Superintendent Ben Small said the school district will likely move to the 3 feet social distancing standard in the fall. Small also said full-time instruction will include better engagement and will get students back into a routine before the next school year. East Central is one of Spokane's most diverse neighborhoods, but it's historically faced some unique challenges, including discrimination.
Well, tonight, the City Council took a step aimed at helping revitalize the area. Our Casey Decker spoke with some people who say it's Spokane's next up and coming neighborhood.
Residents and local leaders say after decades of neglect from the city, it is time to start investing in East Central. And the plan is to start that investment here on 5th Avenue.
East Central began as a promising neighborhood early in Spokane's history, but a series of events caused lasting damage. First, the decline of certain industries, then redlining and housing segregation.
They made it where mainly where black folks didn't have no other place they could stay but in the East Central neighborhood. See, the other areas were priced out for us.
Not long after that, the I-90 freeway construction, which cut right through the heart of the neighborhood, destroying hundreds of homes and much of Liberty Park.
The community just started to age, and there became this disinvestment in East Central, along with this label of low-income, crime-ridden.
Now neighbors say it's long past time to capitalize on the community's promise and start investing.
We're the forgotten neighborhood.
If you walk through there, Casey, there's like a new energy in East Central. And for the first time in a long time, it's getting a little love.
A resolution 5 years in the making was passed unanimously by City Council tonight, outlining priorities to make that happen. Those include recapturing and highlighting the neighborhood's sense of identity.
We really want an identifier for the neighborhood. Welcome to East 5th.
And creating a thriving business corridor through the kinds of streetscape improvements other neighborhoods have seen.
Like on this side, we got a brand new sidewalk. I like to see that on both sides of the street. We want to be just like the Perry District, Kendall Yards.
There is no official bike route in East Central. That was something else. We want to make it walkable and accessible for children and seniors.
And making it easier to build affordable housing and to help current homeowners make improvements without causing the kinds of gentrification that might price longtime residents out of the area. This resolution is a start, but everyone agrees real action, real money needs to follow.
I've been seeing people do a lot of this, and that's what I'm tired of. I want to start seeing some action put behind, the talk.
The next step is to get dedicated resources. So this gives us the groundwork. Nothing happens overnight in government. It can be slow going, but we are there.
In East Central Spokane, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Well, the cleanup continued today after yesterday's windstorm, and that windstorm knocked down trees and created some hazardous conditions for drivers yesterday. The State Patrol said there were a total of 36 car crashes yesterday. Majority of those crashes were in Kittitas County near Snoqualmie Pass in the Grant County and Othello area. And tonight, the power is slowly coming on for thousands of people. Right now, Avista is reporting less than 200 people remain without power. In a statement, Avista said that trees coming down on power lines and equipment caused some damage to transmission and distribution systems. Well, today a little bit of a different weather condition out there than we saw yesterday during the windstorm. Tom Cherry joining us now. So Tom, thank you for being here at 11:05 at night. What can we expect this week?
Well, we're looking for warmer weather. Finally, we only got into the 40s today. We'll look for mostly clear and cold overnight, though. It is going to drop down into the mid-20s. Tomorrow, though, the sunshine returns and near normal highs, meaning in the low 50s. Today, we only saw highs in the mid-40s, and it won't be as windy tomorrow. And then I've got sunny and 60 for you on Wednesday. Take a look at the current temperature. It's already freezing. The wind, not as big a factor, blowing now out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. The day planner forecast, clear and cool for the overnight hours down to about 25 degrees, mostly sunny, and I'll say mild with a daytime high of 52. The warmer day will be on Wednesday, and then Thursday will even get warmer than that. For the weekend, clouds begin to move in. We'll look for a high of 59 on Saturday. Easter Sunday, looks like we'll see mostly cloudy skies, a daytime high of 56. The overnight lows, though, both mornings staying above freezing. I have a look at your 10-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you. Gonzaga's Elite 8 game tips off tomorrow night at 4:15. That's against the USC Trojans as the Zags look to keep dancing in the NCAA tournament. Game is on TBS, but you'll be able to watch our team live from Indy following the game right here on KREM 2. This year's NCAA tournament is different than in years past in a lot of ways, and it doesn't just impact the players, it affects their parents too. Brenna Green and Mark Hanrahan caught up with two Gonzaga families over the past few days, and we'll start tonight with Brenna, who sat down with Jalen Suggs' parents today.
8.5 hours. That's how long it takes to drive from Minneapolis to Indianapolis. Jalen Suggs' parents made the trip down to Indy for the first weekend, then went back to Minnie, then came back to Indy for the second weekend. They are now firmly in Indianapolis as they await to see if their son will become a national champion.
How much time have you guys spent in the car over the last, 2 weeks or so?
A lot.
It would be a lot.
More than I like to.
The Suggs family is all basketball all the time, but it's at a whole other level the past few weeks.
Lots of wins. We're all for all the wins.
Yeah.
So that makes it worth it.
It's not just Jalen playing in the NCAA tournament right now. Sister Jenica has her first game in the Minnesota High School State Tournament on Tuesday as well. With her game starting at 5 Eastern Time and Jalen's starting at 7:15, it could make things complicated for Suggs and Manley. It also means they'll have to deliver the results of his sister's game to Jalen from the stands.
We'll make sure that we have iPad charged up and ready to go, and hopefully we get a great stream when we get in the building.
And then we'll give him the signal, she won or not. Hopefully it's she won.
Another thing the parents are enjoying about the stands is simply just bonding with other Gonzaga parents, something they've only been able to do sparingly throughout the year.
Kisper's mom's always in the front row. You got Timmy's mom in the front row. Molly anchors the middle. So between all the three moms, it's a lot of good loud cheering there for the boys. The boys see them upstairs, and I think it gives them a little extra firepower on the court, a little bit of motivation there.
It's been really fun. It's been one of my favorite parts. Meaningful, and they're meaningful relationships that no matter what happens after this, we'll always take with us.
Jalen is also just 3 games away from taking home some very special hardware.
What would it mean to you guys to have your son be a national champion?
I might cry.
It'll be the first time that I've ever probably told him that he was really, really good.
That Jalen Suggs kid, just a little bit decent. Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Brenna Green, KREM 2 Sports.
Well, she's not going to be the only one that may cry if they win the championship. This year's March Madness tournament is unlike any other. The NCAA, as you can imagine, is taking numerous precautions in hopes of avoiding a COVID outbreak that could actually derail the tournament. So as a result, the teams are being kept in a so-called bubble when they're not on the court. KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan joins us from downtown Indianapolis with more on what that means for teams and their families.
Yes, good evening from downtown Indianapolis. Being in the bubble essentially means players are isolated in their rooms. There's no mingling with players from other teams. They can't even hug their family members. In downtown Indianapolis, the signs for March Madness are impossible to ignore. A massive bracket, 267 feet wide by 180 feet tall, is draped across the front of the JW Marriott Hotel for the entire city to see. But what you won't see on the streets this year, any of the players. They're essentially isolated in their hotels, avoiding contact with anyone from outside their team, even their families.
They've been in a bubble since before the end of the season, actually.
Ed Lang's son, Matthew, was a junior on Gonzaga's squad. After their Sweet 16 victory against Creighton, this was the only face-to-face contact they got with him. A few moments before Matthew got on the team bus, a guard standing by, assuring everyone kept their distance.
And at the WCC tournament, they're in a bubble. And then obviously here they're in a bubble. So it's, I think it's a little bit of a grind for the boys. It's kind of unfortunate. So, being 6 feet or 10 feet away like we just were is the closest we've been to them in a month. But I think, if they keep going, it's all going to be worth it.
It may seem extreme, but the NCAA is trying to avoid a COVID outbreak that could stop play. Here's what they're doing. Each team is isolated from each other, housed on their own floor of the hotel. Each player has their own room. They eat most of their meals at their hotel. Players and staff are tested daily. When they're not in their rooms, masks are required at all times when they're not on the court. And fan capacity at games is capped at 25%.
He said he wanted to do it again.
As for the Langs, they'll enjoy these brief moments after the game and cheer for their son and his team from a distance.
It's something that they'll remember forever, and it makes great memories for us, too.
We mentioned that 25% capacity. Well, from the Elite Eight on, games are played at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's where the Colts play. Capacity there, roughly 70,000. 25% of that is about 17,500. So even though it's limited, the crowd still could be pretty significant. In downtown Indianapolis, I'm Mark Hanrahan for KREM 2 News.
Looks kind of windy over there in Indianapolis.
Yeah, sure did.
All right. Well, it is time to swing into spring.
Yeah.
The Coeur d'Alene Golf Course is reopening this week. Everything you need to know, that's coming up next.
We got a huge challenge ahead of us.
Yes, you do. Gonzaga is one win away from making it to the Final Four. Mark Few and Corey Kispert spoke to reporters today ahead of their game tomorrow. We'll hear from them later in the broadcast.